Hi, all curious minds, and today I want to talk about we all like metrics. We can track our health, and in IT we have a lot of things to measure, like how quick a website opens, the HTTP error codes, the number of customers that visiting our site, and so on. But when it comes to security, then most of the time these metrics are a bit foggy. So what to measure, like how many security policies that we introduce to our system, the training that our employees received, and their knowledge, or maybe, well, have they filled their security report or do something. But there's a metric that often underrated, and most of the time it's not watched. And this is the uptime. If you don't know what uptime is, uptime basically how long a server is running. The most obvious indicator, this should be 100%. This is not what you should looking, because I don't know where I heard this quote, but the most scariest thing to see is a server with a 100-day uptime. So 100 plus day. This is a quite interesting metric, because what does this means? Well, it can be quite a lot of indicator for quite a lot of things. So I just made a little mistake. So let me just try to share my screen. I hope many of you heard about OWASP. OWASP stands for Open Web Application Security Project, and they have this list, the OWASP top 10. And I'm saying that this is quite an entry-level security concept that everybody should know about and learn. So OWASP publish this list regularly, and it contains the most relevant cybersecurity vulnerability categories. So there are a bunch of here, but let's dive deeper into this concept. So where's my, yeah. So OWASP top 10. I will not start with the first one. I just want to indicate the currently the sixth item on the list. It's app with vulnerable component. What does this mean? So when somebody deploys something to a server, so it may have any kind of vulnerability inside of it. And when it's published to a public server, this can be a foothold to an attacker, and they can use it as an option to achieve their goal. How can a vulnerability appear on a server? Obviously, a server is just a box, a computer, then that you are able to install software on it. But this software is needed to, well, somebody will write it and somebody will install it on the server. So, quite obvious choice is to blame the devs. Most of the time this will happen. So, why is there any vulnerability in the code? You should fix it, right? Yes. And many of the time it's just like upgrading a software component inside of the requirement txt in the go.mod or any other software component tracking solution out there. So they are probably fixing the code, but that's just writing the code. The other part is, well, the ops need to deploy it. And when the ops don't deploy a new updated code, well, it will not result in fresh software out on the servers. Well, the operation guys usually rely on maintenance on maintenance windows, or some should call this, some may call this release cycles. So when they can deploy something on a server, when they can introduce a new code in a production environment, and what I saw is many companies use 1 month in their release cycle. It's too well, it's too long. But there are some companies that use 3 months. Even worse, it's a quarterly release cycle. But in some crucial systems, we can see 12 months and even more than 12 months release cycles. This means an attacker have 1 to 20 months window to leverage on this vulnerability that is published publicly somewhere. How to fix this? Well, obviously, you need to upgrade your software components. But a code So a code is not just an application. So, for example, I'm developing a web application. For example, it runs PHP. A PHP code is just a script. You need to install, for example, the PHP interpreter. So this is the script for the site. You need to use the PHP interpreter to interpret the code. Well, there are usually other stuffs like Apache on the server that capable of handling the web request, or Nginx or other kind of solution. So there may be a load balancer on the server. So it's a script, it's an interpreter, a binary, another service, and they are usually running C or C++ code, because services usually written in C++ or other kind of languages. And on the server there are many other applications available. So you need to update every software component on the server, and this results in server downtime, and it's important. The server should stop at some point. For example, if you want to upgrade the server kernel, then obviously the kernel runs everything on the server. I know there are options to do kernel upgrades without restarting the server, but this is not the point. So this was how we can see that we have a server with a 100-day uptime. It can indicate that the OWASP top 10 sixth part, that application is containing vulnerable components. So the other thing to notice just in this concept. Well, the operation guys can say that we released and put a software on the server with no vulnerable code in it. So, day 0, and the number of worms is 0. Fresh software, fresh infrastructure, No vulnerabilities, great. But what if on day 14, another software company that developing another application outside of your organization, you may call this the third-party vulnerabilities, just released a security patch. And it says our code will include this patch will fix 3 vulnerabilities. Nope says there are no vulnerable software on the server. In fact, there are 3. And you can imagine at day 30, there may be, for example, 15 vulnerabilities on the server. The 30 number is crucial. Many servers only hold log information for 30 days. Usually, when you install a software, there will be logs left for 7 days. So just a week. And when somebody publish or find an exploit, it's called on 0 day, because nobody is knowing about it, so no one will notice that there is a vulnerability, and you may see funny stuff in the logs in this period, and then try to figure out what is happened if you have a monitoring alert around it. And maybe somebody will eventually report it to the software component provider, who will you will have a discussion around how to fix it, and it will be disclosed, and after that we'll receive a CVE number, and when they provide the CVE number to the software, then it will be hopefully fixed in the short time. But the attack are already in the public. So when somebody try to exploit this vulnerability, a 0 day, you will not have any clue if you don't store the logs. Okay. Let's see what is on the OWASP list. So this was the vulnerable audited component, and it's tightly connected to the release cycles. And release cycles means features need to be released in public. So let's see another crucial part. Well, everybody love injections. What kind of injection? It can be remote code injection, it can be SQL injection, basically a code piece that you don't want to execute on the server because the attacker can figure out something about it. We can use temp testers to find these vulnerabilities, or we can see indicators around this in the logs, and it will require a developer to fix or an operation guy to update the server, which means it requires a release cycle. So, we just talked about when you try to keep your software up to date, you need to well, restart the server or create a new server. So this can be an indicator that the code may have potential ways to be inject something in it, even if the developers already fixed the issue. They are still waiting to be waiting the software to be released. So, and what else can be categorized here? This is a good one, which is the 8. Data integration failure. So, what happens, obviously, when you stop a server? Well, it can proceed a web request, it can connect to a server, another server can connect to it. So this will introduce to you, well, data integration failure, because a server is not capable of handling your request. It's easily, most of the time, it can be solved by introducing a load balancer or other kind of techniques. So, if I see a server with more than 100 days uptime, then this will indicate that maybe this server is treated like how it's called, a pet. So, have you heard about the term pet? Pet vs cattle. Pet vs cattle. So when we are talking about 100% uptime, the most obvious way to go is just not to restart a server. And we can threat this our little server as a little pet, trying to care about it and treat it. The quite obvious indicator for this, like when we call our servers like Alpha or Bravo or Jupiter. So we are basically giving our servers a name. But how we treat cattles? Well, cattles are just for meal. When they serve their role, we just bring them into the slaughterhouse, and in their ears they usually have a number, like, for example, database 1. What happens when the database 1 goes down? Nothing, because there is a database 2, and it can be spun up very quickly. Okay. Yeah, this is going to be a long video. So, data integrity failure. To solve this, usually we try to introduce monitoring to see if a server has anything related to health issues. But if it fails, then it comes to the OWASP 9 point, which is security logging and monitoring. So this is not a vulnerability. The lack of this activity is the vulnerability. Like I talked about, when so on most of the servers there are, well, 7 to maybe 30 days logs available on the server. This is why okay, I don't know how to write. So this is why centralized logging is a must if you want to track your activities. With centralized logging, you can achieve much greater logging window that you can maintain, and there are some requirements to keep your logs for 1 to 5 years. This will serve as many occasions. So you will have the ability to track back that somebody, well, tried to exploit a vulnerability or who did what. So who did what? This is a good question, yeah? This is the OWASP 7th vulnerability. Identification and authentication failure. So there are no logging around who did what, or you don't store it somewhere. So you can basically don't create an alert about an event and similar things like this. If you don't have security logging and monitoring, identification and authentication failures in your system, and you don't have logging, then you probably won't find the most obvious broken access. The broken access control. So you will have no idea about that somebody did something, and they shouldn't do it so. And I can go much deeper around this. So, the security metric. is uptime is more than the release cycle. That's probably an issue, an indicator of a security problem. So, and if the release cycle is more than, so it's so when it's greater than a month, then it can be a good indicator that there are some security-related events that we are missing. Well, how long? It's half an hour video. So I hope now you have an idea about metrics. Well, we like to track them, but some little detail can interpret it a bit differently, and it may help you to identify more serious security issues. So my takeaway: look it on your server's uptime, and if you see more than 100 days, then maybe you should rethink how you are approaching your software development. I was Zoltán Toma, and this is the Curious Mind Collective. And see you in an upcoming video. Bye!